So those who say that they've been fired because of working on investigations into President Trump are lying or misrepresenting?
Well, those matters are alleged in litigation, which is ongoing, so I can't comment on those specifically.
Could you comment on why you fired former acting FBI Director Driscoll?
I can't because it's ongoing litigation.
Could you say now definitively under oath that the rank and file agents who were assigned to work January 6 cases will not be terminated because that's what they were assigned to do?
I've said it before and I've said it again. Your case assignment, as I was given case assignments when I was a young prosecutor, does not dictate your career or your termination.
Thank you.
Just 47 seconds earlier, Chris Coons delivered a moment that's destined to loop across every major news broadcast all week. He didn't soften his words with diplomacy. He didn't take cover behind technicalities or scripted procedures. And he definitely didn't play that familiar Washington game where everyone understands the reality but pretends not to say it. Instead, he fixed his gaze on Kash Patel, leaned toward the microphone, and voiced the question that has quietly hovered over the FBI for nearly a year. Did you shut down investigations into Donald Trump? And in that instant, the shift in Patel's expression said more than any answer ever could. His attorneys went stiff, caught completely off guard, and the entire hearing room shifted in seconds, from routine oversight to a charged moment no one had anticipated. This is something you have to witness for yourself. Stay with the video all the way through because what unfolds in the next 4 minutes might shake everything you thought you understood about the FBI under Kash Patel. And if you're just joining us, hit subscribe now and turn on notifications because this story is far from over and another hearing is just 72 hours away. Before we go further, let me walk you through the backdrop because without the context, none of this fully lands. A standard Senate Judiciary Committee oversight session penciled into the calendar weeks in advance. Normally, these meetings drag on endlessly, line items, staffing reports, counterterrorism updates, pure C-SPAN background noise. The kind of event where senators recite scripted remarks, the FBI director delivers polished, non-committal answers, and everyone files out without a headline. That's exactly what this was expected to be, but it didn't stay that way. At 9:47 a.m., Kash Patel stepped into the hearing room looking precisely as you'd imagine, dark suit, red tie, moving with the easy confidence of someone seasoned by years of testimony. 3 attorneys walked in tight formation beside him. 2 senior FBI deputies took their seats directly behind him. In front of him sat a thick briefing binder, neatly tabbed and meticulously organized. This wasn't new territory for him. He'd been through this routine dozens of times. He knew how to face down hostile senators, how to sidestep tough questions, how to let the clock drain away without ever really saying anything. As far as he was concerned, today would unfold the same way. 4 seats down from the chairman sat Chris Coons. Most people don't realize this, but Coons typically carries himself as the calm, middle-of-the-road voice. He's the Democrat known for reaching across party lines, the one who asks measured, thoughtful questions without turning it into a spectacle. He's not the type to grandstand. He's not the kind of senator who chases viral moments. His style is steady, composed, almost prosecutorial. A former county executive with a Yale law background in constitutional law, he approaches every exchange like a methodical case file. When Chris Coons asks a question, it's never for show. It's because he already knows the answer and is carefully laying the groundwork. The first 90 minutes of the hearing played out exactly as predicted. One senator after another took their turn. Cybersecurity threats from China, Russian disinformation efforts, domestic extremism numbers. Patel navigated each topic with rehearsed confidence. Yes, Senator, we're monitoring that situation. I can't discuss ongoing investigations. Senator, we're distributing resources where they're needed most, Senator. The usual script. His lawyers hardly reacted. The deputies behind him wore the kind of bored expressions that come from sitting through this 100 times. Patel even glanced at his watch. Twice. Then Coons reached for the microphone. Director Patel, he began, his tone calm, almost disarmingly polite. I'd like to address something specific today. Not policy, not the budget. Something very precise that's recently come to my attention. Patel gave a small nod. Of course, Senator. On March 22nd of this year, Coons went on, did you send a directive to FBI field offices about how investigations involving, or potentially involving, former government officials should be handled? The atmosphere changed instantly. You could feel it. That faint but unmistakable shift in the room when everyone senses the script has just been thrown out. Patel's expression didn't flicker, but his hand, the one resting flat on the table, pressed down just a little harder, the knuckles paling to white. Senator, the FBI routinely provides operational guidance to its field offices. That's simply part of standard bureau management. I'm not referring to routine guidance. Coons reached into his folder and pulled out a document, a single sheet stamped with official FBI letterhead. I'm talking about a specific directive dated March 22nd. Are you familiar with it? Patel shot a quick glance toward his lawyers. It lasted less than a second, but it was unmistakable. Senator, I would need to review the exact document you're mentioning. Let me make this easier. Coons lifted the page high enough for the cameras to catch it. This is an internal FBI memorandum. It instructed SACs, that's special agents in charge for those following along, to route any investigation files involving former presidents or their immediate senior staff to FBI headquarters for a classification review before taking another step. He placed the page back on the desk. Did you issue this directive? Silence. Not the easy, forgettable kind. The heavy kind, the kind that settles over a room when everyone stops breathing at the same time, waiting to see what breaks first. Senator, classification reviews are standard procedures intended to safeguard sensitive national security material and ensure full compliance with federal regulations. It ordered SACs, special agents in charge, for those keeping score, to route any case files involving former presidents or their immediate senior aides to FBI headquarters for a classification check before taking another step. He placed the document back on the desk with deliberate care. Did you authorize this directive? Silence settled in. Not the light passing kind. The kind that lingers and presses down on the room. That's not what I asked. Coons' voice remained steady, but now there was an edge beneath it. Did you issue this directive? The FBI maintains established protocols for handling investigations that could involve classified material or sensitive government operations. Director Patel, this is a simple yes or no. On March 22nd, did you order field offices to send investigation files involving former presidents to headquarters before moving forward? 22 seconds of silence. I counted them. In a congressional hearing, 22 seconds feels like forever. It's the kind of silence that tells you everything. The silence of a witness who doesn't have a clean answer. The moment everyone watching understands that something serious just cracked open. Finally, Patel spoke. Senator, I'm not prepared to discuss the specific operational details of internal FBI communications in an open setting. Wrong move. You could read it instantly on Coons' face. Not anger. Something colder. Disappointment mixed with quiet certainty. The expression of a prosecutor who just secured the admission he needed. Coons opened a thick folder, easily 2 inches deep, stuffed with papers marked by rows of colored tabs. Director Patel, since you're unwilling to address it, let me walk you through what followed after you issued that directive. He slid out the first page. On April 3rd, 12 days after your order, the FBI's Miami field office was investigating financial irregularities tied to a Trump Organization subsidiary. The case had opened the previous November after an IRS referral. It had been active for 5 months. He glanced up at Patel. On April 3rd, that investigation was paused. The lead agent reassigned. The files transferred to headquarters for classification review. He set the paper down. That review is still pending. 7 months later. Patel started to speak, but Coons continued. April 17th, FBI Phoenix, an inquiry into possible violations of the Presidential Records Act involving documents stored at Mar-a-Lago after the initial search. Active case, witness interviews underway, subpoenas being drafted. Another sheet came out, April 17th. Investigation halted, files shipped to headquarters, still sitting in classification review. The deputies behind Patel weren't slouched anymore. They leaned forward now, murmuring to each other under their breath. His attorneys had started scribbling notes, sliding pages back and forth in a quiet panic. May 2nd, Coons continued, FBI New York, an investigation into possible campaign finance violations tied to the 2024 Trump campaign, built on evidence uncovered during the ongoing Manhattan case. He lifted another sheet. May 2nd, suspended. Files sent to headquarters for classification review. He stacked the growing pile of documents neatly in front of him. I have 17 more. Director Patel, 17 separate investigations across 12 different field offices, each one connected to Donald Trump or organizations directly linked to him. Every one of them active before March 22nd. Everyone paused within 30 days of your directive. Everyone currently frozen in classification review at headquarters. The room went still. No coughing, no chair movement, just 50 people staring straight at Kash Patel. Coons leaned closer to the microphone. So let me ask you again, and I want you to consider your answer carefully because you're under oath. Did you issue a directive that effectively shut down ongoing FBI investigations into Donald Trump? This is where it detonated. Patel tried to pivot, tried to wrap it in procedure. Senator, the classification review process exists to ensure investigations don't inadvertently compromise national security or interfere with sensitive operations involving former senior government officials. Ongoing sensitive operations. Coons' voice lifted a notch, not shouting, not yet, but hovering right on the edge. Director Patel, Donald Trump left office 4 years ago. He's currently running for president. He isn't conducting sensitive operations. He's holding rallies and spending weekends on the golf course. Senator, former presidents retain certain security clearances and access to classified material that still requires protection. Then explain this. Coons reached for another document. This one looked different, thicker, several pages clipped together. This is a comparative analysis my staff compiled. We reviewed every FBI investigation involving former senior government officials over the last 20 years. Presidents, vice presidents, cabinet members. He thumbed through the stack. Do you know what we discovered? The average classification review for those cases lasts 14 days. The agents who are working those Trump investigations, the ones abruptly reassigned, the ones pulled off their cases, are going to testify on camera, under oath. And when they do, what we witnessed today will feel like nothing more than a prelude. The truth is surfacing piece by piece, one document at a time, one hearing at a time, one senator willing to push back at a time. And Kash Patel, the man who believed he could quietly shelve 17 investigations without anyone noticing, just learned a very costly lesson. Chris Coons noticed, and now the entire country does too.